And happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good week so far. Just joining you live for my regular Tuesday night Facebook Live. So I'm Jen Turnham and I'm the host of the women's only Facebook group, Inspired Women. So if you're interested in joining it, you can Google Inspired Women with Jen Turnham, and we'd love to have you on board. Today's topic, I'm going to be talking about the importance of filling your own cup first. And I think, another analogy for that is basically, when you're on the plane and they do the safety briefing, and then they always say, put your own oxygen mask on first before helping other people. So it's essentially the same concept, but I like the idea of filling your own cup first, because if you continue that analogy, once your cup is full and it starts overflowing, then it's easier to picture in your mind all this excess goodness that you then have spare for other people. So that's why I always use the analogy of filling your own cup first. Before I get into it though, I'm just like you to think about the concept for a second. So how many of you have experienced feelings of being overwhelmed, stress, exhaustion, or any other such unhelpful moments in life? And the reason you feel that way is because you've been so busy looking after everyone else around you that you've forgotten to, hey Andrew, how you going? So you've been so busy looking after everybody else around you that you're not, basically just not taking care of yourself. And further to that, if you are, once you have reached that state of overwhelm, stress, exhaustion, I invite you to have a think about being in that state. How useful are you to the other people in your life who actually need you? And that's really why this topic is so important, because the people who need us, they need us to be at our best. So tonight I'll be sharing my top 3 tips for how to fill your own cup first. But first, kind of a little bit of a story about my struggle with this same problem. It was back in 2015. There was a lot of stuff going on at my part-time job. There was a lot of staffing issues. Just, how life has those ups and downs, and it was just a time where there was just so much going on and there was a lot of stress for me at work. The business owner had also just taken a holiday and she'd left me in charge, so I was having to deal with all the stresses that she usually dealt with, as well as my own stresses in the job. I was also in a relatively new relationship, so I was trying to juggle how that would work and how that would fit in my life. And essentially I just took too much on myself and neglected myself and wasn't filling my own cup first. I was too busy looking after everything and everyone around me. Basically, what happened is, yes, Andrew, it was completely overwhelming. So my brain went into a state of overwhelm. But even worse than that is it actually, because it went on for quite a number of months, and this is why it's such a serious issue that I want to talk to you about. It went on for a number of months and actually turned into what has become almost a 3-year battle with my health. And it's resulted in what I believe to be Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which I'm just about to get the tests and confirm that and figure out what's really going on so that I can actually get better. But I share that with you because I want you to be able to learn from my mistakes and also just really get how serious this is. If we don't look after ourselves, most of the time the reason we don't look after ourselves is because we're trying to look after other people, but eventually our body will give up and then we won't be able to look after anybody. So it really is important to fill your own cup first. So my top 3 tips for how to do that, first of all is, I'll just go through them quickly and then go into a bit more detail. So the first one is accept that most of the time, or in fact all of the time, you can't do it all. Second one, learn to say no. And the third one is make sure you schedule some time for play, time out, relaxation, pampering, anything along those lines. Schedule some of that into your week. So each of these 3 tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them, each of them could actually be a whole new topic in themselves. I could do a Facebook Live or a blog post on all 3 of them. So I'll just touch on them briefly. So number 1 I said was accept that most of the time you can't do it all. And I think once you accept that, it becomes a little bit easier to, I suppose, prioritise. And something that I've gotten much better at in recent times is once I accepted that I'm not going to be able to do it all, there's only a limited number of hours in the day, I'm better able to kind of flick things into next week or tomorrow. So I look at the things that I need to get done and I go, well, there's no way I can do all of those, so that's going to have to wait, that's going to have to wait, that's going to have to wait. And it's quite a liberating feeling to actually be able to do that, because it kind of removes, I suppose, the pressure that you're feeling when you are trying to do it all. The second tip that I mentioned was learning to say no. Now, this is easier for some people and really difficult for others. If it's something that you find difficult, then the trick is to practice. Practice makes perfect, applies in this situation. One thing I would suggest to do to start with is set yourself a target. So for the next week, I'm going to politely say no to every request that comes my way. Now, obviously do this within reason. I don't want you to get fired over it because you're saying no to your boss. But just practice saying no for a week. And once you've practiced that a little bit, you'll find the actual saying no to get a little bit easier. And then you can start implementing some strategies and be a little bit more choosy as to some things you'll say yes to and some things you'll say no to. But one strategy you could implement is figure out how you can get some thinking time, so to speak. So you might say to somebody, oh, I've got a lot going on right now, so is it okay if I get back to you in a couple of days? And then if you still don't feel strong enough to perhaps say no to their face or over the phone, you could send a polite text or an email until you actually feel a lot stronger. But I think what you'll find is that most people respect you if you respect yourself. And I think that applies to time as well. So if it's obvious that you're respecting your own time and you're being honest with people and say, hey, I've got a lot going on, not really sure if I can take on anything else at the moment, they're going to respect you a lot more than if you just say yes to everything. Because what often happens when we say yes to everything is things fall through the cracks and we don't end up doing anything as well as we perhaps could have if we had said no to a couple of those non-essential things. The third thing that I think is really, really important in terms of filling your own cup first, and this is something that I'm still learning to implement, and it's much harder when you're really busy and when you've got a lot on your plate, but that is also when it is the most important time to do it. And that's scheduling time for play, just some time out, some relaxation or some pampering. So this is where you can really have some fun, because it's just stuff that you enjoy. So it could be, Andrew, for you, it could be playing your guitar. So you actually schedule some time in your day to play the guitar. Could be getting out in nature. It could be having a relaxing bath. I've actually discovered those adult colouring in books, and I find those quite therapeutic. So I sometimes just sit on the couch and do a bit of colouring. But it's just enjoyable things. So whatever's enjoyable for you, the list is potentially endless as to what you could do. But I think the most important point with this one is that I say schedule time for these things. So mark it in your calendar. If you've got a lot going on, book an appointment with yourself and actually mark it in your calendar and commit to it like it's a business meeting. So don't change it, don't procrastinate, don't put it off, because the busier you are, the more important it is to take that time out. So they're my 3 tips. Just to recap for people who like to have a little summary at the end. So we're talking about the importance of filling your own cup first, and keep on filling it till it's overflowing, and then you've got much more to give everybody else in your life. So my top 3 tips are: accept that you are never going to be able to do it all, so you've got to get better at prioritizing. Learn to say no. There are a ton of different strategies that, if you want more help on that, send me an email at hi@jenturnham.com, and I'm happy to flick you back some other strategies that you could put into play there. And then most importantly, as I said, the busier we are, the more important this is. Schedule time out, relaxation, pampering, fun stuff. Get in touch with your inner child, the stuff you love doing as a child that you perhaps don't do anymore because you think, oh, it's just a kid's activity. They're sometimes the most fun. So thanks for listening. As I said, I'm Jen Turnham. I'm the host of Inspired Women with Jen Turnham. So if you would like to join that group, as Andrew's already realised, not for you, sorry buddy. But you can also just follow me on Facebook if you want, Jen Turnham Speaker Coach. And I'll be jumping on Facebook Live pretty much every Tuesday at this time. And yeah, if you've got any ideas or any requests as to what you want me to talk about, then again, you can email me at hi@jenturnham.com. And yeah, I'll give you, talk about a ton of different things. So I'm open to ideas. Thanks again for listening. Have a fabulous Tuesday night, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.